Hey students, happy Tuesday. Sorry I'm not here again. I just needed an extra day to recover from the whole, surgery thing. But I thought I'd leave y'all with this video. There is a video for 8.14, the Mr. Morgan video. Go check that out. But I wanted to give y'all a video for 8.15, okay? Because here, we want to be able to write infinite decimals as fractions. So infinite decimals, y'all may know as 0.33, right? Repeating. That we know is 1/3. Now I want to show y'all how to write a repeating decimal as a fraction, okay? And it's actually kind of got a bit of equation solving in it. It's not bad though, so check this out, okay? Let's do this. Ooh, how embarrassing. I'll leave that work out of here. Okay, we'll come back to that. But let's start with something simple, something we know, right? So 0.3 repeating, right? That is the same as writing 0.33333333333, and so on and so forth. Okay, forever. All right, and we don't like writing that out so long, so we write them as fractions. So there's a really neat trick to this, okay? So what we do is we start out with the decimal, right? 0.3 repeating, right? We just set it equal to x. We're gonna write a quick little equation, okay? That is our equation. Now, in order to understand this, you've got to remember that x is 0.3 repeating, okay? They're the same thing, right? So here's what we'll do, okay? The repeating decimal is just one decimal place long, and 3, it's the 10th place, right? So what we want to do is multiply both sides by 10. So we'll multiply x by 10, we get 10x. If we multiply 0.33 repeating by 10, well, that just moves the decimal one over. So we end up with 3.3 repeating, right? Where we've got all those 3's, so on and so forth. But I'm not going to write those all out. All right, so we have this. This is the crazy part, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 1x from both sides. So subtract x, which remember, x is equal to 0.3 repeating, right? So we take away x, but we're also subtracting 0.3 repeating, right? Because x is 0.3 repeating, right? So we subtract x from both sides. Here, that gives me 9x. On this side, well, 3.3 repeating minus 0.3 repeating just gives us 3, right? Now again, remember that's because x is 0.3 repeating, right? Then we solve it just like we would any other equation. Divide by 9 on both sides, and we get that x is equal to 3/9, or 1/3. As we know. Now, if you type in 1 divided by 3 on your calculator, you will get 0.3 repeating. All right, this is how we can get that without our calculator. Obviously, you can use your calculator. It's a great tool. If you find yourself without one, it's a great way to be able to do that. All right, and it works as well for fraction or for decimals that have multiple repeating patterns. Okay, so for example, let's do one more. Okay. If we had 0. Let's say 23, okay, 0.23 repeating. I don't actually know what that is as a fraction, so this will be a great way to find out. All right, if we do x equals 0.23, now let's try multiplying both sides by 10. You might notice a mistake here, right? If we multiply both sides by 10, we get 2.32 repeating. Okay, now this is the issue, right? I multiplied by 10. This decimal up here, the repeating part is 2 places, right? We've got the tens and the hundredths. So we really want to multiply by 100. See, if we multiply by 10 and then subtract x from both sides, remember we're subtracting 0.23, we end up with a mistake. We get 9x is equal to, okay, 2.13, so that's going to be 0, 9. Okay, and then it's 3, 2, 3, 2 repeating. So that's a mistake. Okay, We don't want that. So what we're going to do instead of multiplying by 100 is when you have, sorry, let me catch up with myself here. When we have two decimal places, we want to multiply it by 100. Because that's going to move the decimal 2 places over. So we'll have 23.23 repeating. Now here when we multiply or when we subtract 1x, again, remember x is 0.23 repeating, okay? We'll end up with 99x because 100x minus 99x equals, or 100x minus 1x equals 9x, okay? And that will equal 23, okay? Because remember here, we've got all these 2 3s, all these 2 3s that repeat on forever. And if x is equal to 2 3 repeated on forever, well, it just takes care of all of that, okay? And just leaves us with 23. Now, if we divide both sides by 99, we get x is equal to 23/99. All right, and you can reduce that as much as you can. Here, we can't really reduce that, so that is our fraction. Okay, now the only difference between here and what we did for 0.3 repeating is we just multiplied by 100. And again, that's because we had two numbers, two different numbers up under the repetant bar. If we have just one, we'll just multiply by 10. If there are three numbers, three different numbers under the repetant bar, we will multiply by 1,000. Okay, so that's that. Now there's one more thing I've got to show you with this. All right. And I'm not sure that this is I don't think this is gonna be on the test, but let's go over it anyway. Okay, so this number here, 0.186 repeating. Now you're gonna notice is that repetant bar right here is only over the 8 and the 6. It's not over the 1. All right, now we still don't really change what we do here. We've still got two numbers under the repetant bar, so we'll multiply by 100. We're still going to set this equal to x, but something else will happen, and I want to show you all what we do when that happens, okay? So we multiply by 100, both sides. So we get 100x, we get this multiplied by 100. Actually, no, we want to multiply that by 1,000, I believe. You know what? No, I'm sticking with 100. Oh no, it is 1,000. All right. So there's three numbers behind the decimal. You'll see why we've done this in a second. Okay, so that brings us to 186.86 repeating. Okay, so we'll just say 868 repeating. You'll see why I've done this. Okay, we're going to subtract 1x from both sides here. Oh my. I have made a mistake. You're going to love this. Okay, so 999x is equal to, now we are subtracting, so we get 186. Oh no. All right, let me write this out. And we subtracted, it was 0.186 repeating. Okay, do you see what I've done here? You see how these don't match up? Yeah, that ain't gonna work for us. So let's take a step back, okay? Instead of multiplying by 1,000, let's stick to our rule, okay? We've got two numbers under the repetant bar. So we're just gonna multiply by 2 spaces, okay? Or 100x, or 100 on both sides. So if we multiply both sides by 100, that will give us 18.686. All of this is under the repetant bar, but I'm just going to use it here, okay? Because after that, it's 8686, and that's all we really care about, okay? So if we subtract an x from both sides, here we're subtracting, remember, 0.186. You see how those are lining up? We get 99x is equal to, okay, so we still have 18.5, and then the 8 6's, those all go away, okay? The 8 and the 6 repeating, all right? So we end up with 99x is equal to 18.5. Now, we can't write a fraction with a decimal in it, so here on these ones, we actually have to multiply by 10 again, all right? Because we want that decimal to move 1 over. So if we multiply by 10, we'll have 990x is equal to 185. That's when we divide both sides by 990. And we end up with x is equal to 185 over 990. That is what this decimal is as a fraction. Now again, you can reduce this. And you want to reduce it, but that's our answer right now as far as what we've got so far. Okay, that's how we do this. So again, the main keys of this is figure out how many decimal places you need to move, right? Where'd it go? So for example, 0.9. Okay, one decimal place under the repetant bar, so we multiply by 10. Okay, and from there, you're just solving it. Always subtract 1x from both sides. You remember you're subtracting 0.9. That gives you 9x. And then from there, just solve. Okay, divide by 9 on both sides. You're set. All right, so that is that. All right, good luck. Make sure you get those practice problems done. And I'll see you all tomorrow. I will be here Wednesday. So we'll see you then. All right. Y'all have a good day. See you tomorrow.